Tonight, on a very special episode of All Systems Go, we dive into Anthem's remix, a scoop on E3, and info from everyone's favorite family shrinker, Rick Moranis.
And don't miss when our panel talks about romance in the media. Is it overdone, or do they secretly enjoy it? After that, we have a dating game with special surprise guests.
Grab your loved one, hold them close, and don't go away. All Systems Go starts right now.
Hello and welcome to All Systems Go, the Valentine's Day special. The special that's never going to give you up, never going to let you down, but it will run around at the speed of sound like a Sonic to be your Valentine's Day date. I'm the loved animal.
And call me a cupcake because I am your hostess with the mostest, Kyle Eads. BioWare has announced a slowdown in production for the game Anthem after backlash from players. BioWare's team has released news with the redesign and plans to reinvent the core gameplay with clear goals, motivating challenges, and progression towards exciting rewards. The game's current state will be still available online for players until the updated version is ready for release in the upcoming months.
E3, everybody, E3! The list of attendees and AAA publishers was leaked online recently, and boy howdy, let's have the sound off, shall we? Xbox, Nintendo, Ubisoft, Bethesda, Sega, Capcom, Square Enix, Take-Two, Bandai Namco, Warner Brothers, and so much more. What can we expect to see this year that will be breathtaking?
You're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking! But who won't be attending this year's E3? While Sony announced some time ago that they would be skipping E3 once again, what came as a surprise to some people was the news regarding Jeff Keighley. The E3 MVP made the personal announcement that he is stepping down as this year's host and, for the first time, skipping the event altogether. Keighley has been involved with the convention since its start way back in 1995 and speaks of his involvement with E3 as the highlight of his career.
Over 25 years, Wes Anderson has graced us with countless cinema classics, and the Hollywood icon is still giving us more. His new film, The French Dispatch, is a love letter to journalists and will include Anderson regulars like Tilda Swinton, Owen Wilson, Adrian Brody, and without a doubt, Bill Murray. The French Dispatch is slated for release this July. Nativia's G-Force has been running into some trouble recently.
Yeah, G-Force, that's the movie with all the guinea pigs, right?
No. The gaming streaming service G-Force has removed all of Activision's games from their library. As of now, there is no slated reason for why Blizzard and Activision have pulled their games. The only clue is the EULA of Blizzard that restricts the users from playing a game on the cloud streaming service.
If Kyle was my brother, I'd put myself up for adoption.
Rude.
Rick Moranis, known best for Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, who retired from acting, is coming back. Disney is reviving the beloved series with Moranis back in action and starring in the newest movie, Shrunk. Along with Moranis, the original director Joe Johnston is returning to direct this film. Shrunk does not have an official release date yet, but you know I'll be there opening night.
For the trailer of the week, we have a reveal of a brand new IP from Square Enix. Let's take a look at their newest game, Outrider.
We came to Enoch as our last chance, a chance at a new home. But what we found didn't save humanity. It consumed it.
As mankind bleeds in the trenches of Enoch, you'll create your own Outrider and embark on a journey across a hostile planet. This is the tagline for the newest game from Square Enix and developer People Can Fly. Announced back at E3 2019, Outrider will be available on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X later this year. We will find out more about the game during Square's gameplay reveal stream on February 13th.
They might not have dates, but they still have strong feelings on romance and entertainment. When we return, our panelists will discuss their thoughts on romance and media. We'll be right back for this extra sexy panel.
I'm your host, the incredibly single Max Schilling. Joining me today to discuss living vicariously through fictional couples is Ashley, Anthony, Kyle, and Kayla. So what is everybody's experience with romance in media?
Well, I personally watch sitcoms a lot, so usually a big plot point of each episode or each season is a new couple or couples fighting or things like that. So I've seen a lot and a lot of romance in media.
Boy, me too. And honestly, I feel like with a lot of those shows, some of the romances are just so pointless that it makes me not want to like stay involved. I don't know. It's like nothing is worse than just like being to sit and watch a show and it's just like these two people in real life realistically wouldn't even want to be
Why
friends.
are they even here?
Exactly. Like they had no value. It's just like a couple for the sake of being a couple. I hate it when shows pair off everybody. And
personally, I'm a hopeless romantic. I love having romance in anything.
love is cool.
It works to an extent because I have this cliche in my head that I've always heard that every show at some point will throw out a romantic angle, couple, whatever, except usually children's shows because they don't want.
Even there.
Because then it gets even,
They
but it's
plant the
sometimes
tension.
they plant the tension,
Like,
but
when
it's never
they're
they never go
older-
fully with it. And like even like in horror movies, you see like romantic couples, and sometimes those are the worst examples of when they
But
shouldn't
one
be
of them
there.
always dies in that case.
Usually,
But
yes.
like I agree, I'm a homeless romantic too, and like romance is just—it's a part of life. I feel like everything should have at least just a little,
love it
little
when
of
it's done
romance,
well.
little.
A show that everybody dates and then there's those two people left over and they're like, okay, now kiss. Like that's just
Like
dumb.
Friends.
I will say that I am kind of on that side of whenever I start watching a show, if there's like not already pre-established couples, I'm like, who could end up together by the end of this show? So I am kind of always like waiting for that moment.
I feel that.
Oh yeah. So, have there been times that you think romance has ruined what you were watching, or on the other side of that, have there been any times where you really wish that something romantically would have happened?
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Shouldn't.
What
Has
about
it been
Star
long enough
Wars?
that we can talk about that?
I actually haven't seen it yet, but
Really?
Raylo,
Oh,
That's a different panel. That's a different panel. Go
I'm
ahead.
happy to talk about it.
First of all, though, Raylo was a sin. The Rose and Finn thing, also stupid. I can get really shouty really fast over this. I just think that they really did the whole franchise dirty, and Carrie Fisher deserved a better legacy because they just, with that last movie, just kind of disappointed me a whole lot.
Do you think romance had any place in Star Wars?
To an extent, but I don't think Raylo.
Anthony,
Not
look
at
like
all.
you have an opinion.
I
Give
think
it.
I think that there's a big place for romance in Star Wars because I think one of like the original things for original fans, it doesn't even include us, like the people that saw it in theaters in the 70s or whenever.
Parents.
Yeah, I mean, a big part of that experience was seeing kind of like the Luke and Leia thing, and then after that, the Leia and Han thing. So I think that there's a big place for romance in Star Wars, but I do think that in the most recent movie, it felt kind
I
of
think
forced.
it's not the problem with the romance itself because, like you said earlier, romance is just a part of life. I think the problem is the reaction to a certain couple, relationships, whatever, because they can either make it so much better or so much worse. Because Raylo fans, as most Star Wars fans are toxic. And there are other shows, like Steven Universe I'm a fan of that show, but there are some ships and couples in there that are just so annoying and just really bad people to deal with.
And my favorite show right now, which is The Good Place. So they had soulmates, and these two people were soulmates, but no, like I hated them.
Really?
And he fell in love with someone else, and I was like, yes, this is it. So then he got married to this other person.
Well, that's actually a
But
perfect
then
segue.
later, he was like, nah. And he went back to his soulmate, and I was so mad.
Because our next question is actually like, have there been any on-screen romances that you think should have been done differently? And actually, my argument would be, I think, in just about every anime I've ever seen, and for The Good Place, that the romances should have started sooner, and that's my big thing.
So I have something that I like to just kind of like, it's like somebody with a conspiracy theory. I just like I rant this off to people all the time. Is in Bleach, the anime Bleach, there was kind of this beautiful buildup of Ichigo and Orihime's relationship. She was kind of one of the only people that he was like had a soft spot for. The whole point of, not to give spoilers, I suppose, but she kind of confesses her love to him as he's sleeping before she's kidnapped, and then the whole arc is about his intensity and his passion for getting her back and rescuing her.
So what happens when he gets her back?
So he gets her back, and we kind of just do not address those romantic feelings. They literally do not come back up again, and I just feel like it kind of made it feel like, oh, they completely forgot a major point of this whole story that seemed like they were setting it up from the very beginning. So I personally wish that I wish I could go back and be like, hey, I need a kiss or something at the end.
Something that happens a lot in anime, like Groovia, like one person like just so loves this other person, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, please get together, please just get
And they're like
together.
They're hinting at that relationship like as soon as they meet.
Exactly, and then it takes like 2 seasons, and it's like, dude, there's so many episodes. Just please,
Even
you're
like-
torturing me.
I don't ship Groovia. I kind of feel like at a point
I
I'm like,
think,
she really needs to move on.
I think like you need to leave, like right now.
Sorry.
At the end of the
So
series,
much
you
better
have
fights.
the whole little like, where are they now? Were they even together in that little where are they now bit, or
I don't know.
I just don't remember that well enough.
Never
but I
seen
mean,
Bleach.
Me
So
neither.
that's
This is
fair, I
fairy
can't really-
tale.
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I do have a problem with like a lot of anime relationships though. One of them always annoys me to no end.
but
Like they could both be so
Yeah.
in love with each other, and like I could see that that's like a really good thing for them. But the other one annoys me so much that I just want
don't
to
go
die.
away, because after the break, we'll take a look at castmate Darian's review of the new highly anticipated DC movie, Birds of Prey. Does it stand out in a world full of superhero and villain movies? Is it true to the original concepts of Harley Quinn? Does it live up to all the attention surrounding it? Stay tuned to All Systems Go to find out.
DC's newest movie, Birds of Prey, is having some trouble at the box office. Should you buy a ticket and help them out? Our cast member Darian is here to let you know with his review.
Good movie that could have been a great one. For starters, let's talk about the thing I was most optimistic about, the action. Birds of Prey's action was definitely in good hands, with John Wick director Chad Stahelski directing the second unit, John Wick editor Evan Schiff being one of the film's 2 editors, and a hard R rating lending itself more to intense, often bloody violence. I'm happy to say the action sequences don't disappoint. They're handled with smooth camera work that makes it easy to keep track of things, editing that maintains the pacing without being an over-edited mess, hits that actually feel like real hits, and a sense of commitment and focus from everyone involved. Another point in the film's favor is its visual style. The film's DP was Matthew Libatique, who's done a lot of great work with films like Mother, A Star is Born, and Black Swan. To put it simply, he does great work, and here's no exception. The film has such a sense of life and vibrancy to it, which is a very welcome departure from the overly grim tone established by Zack Snyder's early DC entries. Unfortunately, I can't remain completely positive for this entire review, because the area where Birds of Prey suffers the most is in the plot department. Let me address the elephant in the room. Yes, this film is basically Deadpool 2. It's a light, self-aware film about a snarky antihero who gets caught up in having to save the life of a child, eventually teaming up with their supposed enemies to defeat the big baddie and save the day. If you can get past that, though, the film works, for the most part. The main issue dragging this film down is pacing. The first half is built so much on flashbacks and an increasingly complex web of character interactions, and in general, the film spends so much time getting the gang together that when they do finally come together in the climax, it can't help but feel rushed. There's bits of backstory and character relationships that are hinted at throughout the film, but ultimately lead nowhere, which, if I had to guess, is a victim of some editing done in post-production to focus the film more on Harley. Perhaps an inevitable director's cut or extended edition will iron this out somewhat, but it is definitely noticeable. All in all, Birds of Prey is pretty good. It really shines visually, it's got some really great performances, and it hints at a much brighter future for the DC Extended Universe, even if its plot and writing leaves a lot to be desired. 7 out of 10.
Coming up, love is in the air, and one lucky bachelorette will choose between 3 hopeful candidates. Who is going out and who is going home? It's all about to blow up here on ASG. We'll be right back.
Welcome to our trademark-free game of dating. I'm your hunky host, the Loved Animal. And tonight we have 3 characters hoping to win a date with our bachelorette here. Ashley, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling great.
Oh, that's wonderful. What are you looking for in a suitor?
Me, I love a funny guy, a funny person. You know, gotta love adventure, maybe beach, woods, wilderness, I don't know. And definitely just like compassion, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, we have 3 wonderful contestants to introduce to you tonight. Contestant number 1 is a radio DJ who wants to see a world full of love and peace. Could say she's kind of an old school girl. Contestant number 2, he's a part-time comedian who hates most people, but might wind up loving you, and you might find some love in him, making something out of nothing. Contestant number 3 is a caring and loving bookworm. Good head on his shoulders, that's definitely a normal-sized head. So, Ashley, would you like to ask your first question?
Oh, totally. So, contestant number 1, how do you spend your free time?
I usually spend my free time hanging out with my friends, listening to music, mostly Zeppelin, and really enjoying nature.
Good answer. How about you, contestant number 2?
What is the deal with free time? We all have time, but only some of it is free. Hey, can you hang out later? No, I can't. I don't have any free time. I got time, but none of it's free. You gotta pay for it.
Okay, and contestant number 3.
I spend my free time reading, studying, maybe playing video games a little bit. I work a lot too, which I love.
Video games, work, have hobbies, and money. Love it. Okay, so contestant number 1, actually, contestant number 3, I want to go the other way. What is your ideal date?
My ideal date is I would take you to a nice movie because I work in a movie theater and we could get a great discount. Maybe we'll see Hot Pants Dad or Cave Woman 2. Cave Woman 2 would be great.
Cool, cool, cool. Contestant number 2, what about you?
What's the deal with dates? You agree to go out and meet a stranger, and the only agreement you have that you're not going to murder each other is the chance that maybe one day you'll get married.
Okay, you're killing me, contestant number 2. Okay. Contestant number 1, give me your ideal date.
So I would take you out to dinner, something very, very nice, and then we go hang out, listen to music, just spend the whole night together, just having fun, hanging out, really relaxed.
Love a good relaxation. All right, I got one more question. We're going to start with contestant number 2. If you could describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
What is the deal with words? Back in the old days of cavemen, they had it right. They just made noises. Ooga ooga, I ooga ooga. And then all of a sudden someone decided to make it words. And now we have to go out and talk to people? What's the deal with talking to people? Talking to people sucks. I don't want to go out and talk to people. I just want to go out and make grunting noises all the time. What is the deal with words?
Truly, what is the deal with words? All right, contestant number... I'm gonna save one for last. Contestant number 2, what's your nope. If you could describe yourself in one word, what would you describe yourself as?
I would describe myself as responsible. Responsible!
Sorry, my brain was running. Okay, and contestant number 1, give me a word.
See, there's just so many words to choose from. I'm a lot of things. I'm peaceful. I stand for feminism. I want to love you, okay? I'm music. I really don't know what could describe me. Maybe groovy, maybe peaceful. I don't know. I'm just the greatest.
Well, it sounds like you have 3 wonderful contestants lined up, and we're about to do a special surprise twist on the show. Each of these 3 contestants are actually going to ask you one question individually.
Oh, heck yeah. Lay it on me, guys.
Contestant number 1, would you like to start?
Yes, please. Ashley, I would like to know what your favorite band is, and please give me a reason why.
My favorite band is My Chemical Romance. A main reason is because I've never been able to leave my emo phase. Another reason is because their music really it gets me deep down in my soul. There's a song for everything. Their albums, I get caught up in it. I get taken away.
It's really deep, man.
I know, right?
That was a great answer. Contestant number 2, what is your question?
What is the deal with your romantic history? Are there any crazy ex-boyfriends I should know about?
Do you want to hear how stupid my dating history is? I've had one boyfriend ever. And yeah, I don't have crazy dating history.
Okay, well, that's not too bad. A lot of people have baggage these days. Well, contestant number 3, ask your question.
What's your opinion on Oprah?
Oprah? Oprah's a pretty, she's a stacked woman. Like, what hasn't she done? Oprah's done everything. She's a wonderful woman, wonderful role model. I'm sure she'd make a great cardboard cutout in someone's bedroom. Don't run her over with your car. Gotta respect her, though. her and her books. I think she has cooking recipes. I don't know. But Oprah, I respect Oprah a lot.
And an absolute powerful figure she is. Very influential, helpful to the community. Now, one last question. What would be one thing each of you would buy with $1 million? And then we shall reveal which contestant is picked.
Honestly, I would buy Ashley and I tickets to whatever concert she would want to go to. And maybe some food, too.
I would buy some cereal.
Great answer. Contestant number 3?
I would buy Ashley 1,000 game spheres. They're spherical.
You had 3 contestants buying you gifts. What would you spend your $1 million on before you pick?
What would I spend my $1 million on? Wait, did you say million or 1,000?
Million. Why not?
$1 million? Oh, okay, so I'm investing. I'm also buying a house and buying a lot of games.
That is
and
absolutely.
tickets to shows.
That is
and cereal.
Oh, and cereal. Concerts, cereal,
you got me on the nose.
games. All right, Ashley. You have one choice, one date to select. Which contestant will you be taking home tonight to see who is your dream suitor?
Oh dear. Well, contestant number 1, you definitely would feed me with lots of music, lots of connection. I feel like we would get along really well and just having a calm, you know.
Moving on to contestant number 2. Sorry to cut it short.
Oh yeah, no, that's cool. Contestant number 2, I can tell that we'd be laughing the whole evening. You really seem to be a funny guy. I don't know, I think we could have a good time, but contestant number 3, you also, you hit a lot of my interests.
Who would you pick, Ashley?
I think I would pick...
Hurry now, we're all waiting in suspense.
Contestant number 1.
Contestant number 1! You are our winner. Please step up. Ashley, step up as well. Meet your new
Wait, can
love.
I guess? I knew it.
It's Donna from That 70s Show. Let's give them all a round of applause.
Yes! I'm so glad you love my Wile E. Coyote feet.
I knew
Don't worry,
it.
contestant number 2 and number 3. You'll be coming home with me tonight.
Oh dear.
Oh no.